Hi, I'm Phil.
And I'm Kate.
And this is The Underground, live from Glee 2024. So without further ado,
let's get down and dirty. So I'm delighted to welcome to The Underground today, Rachel Eunson. Just checking that's right, yes. And Rachel is the managing director or the CEO, founder of Feverfew Garden Company, which is specifically, you make workwear for women. Is that right?
That is right. Thank you so much for having me. I'm
welcome.
So excited to be here.
Oh, lovely. So I tell you what, let's just start with you giving us a bit of background about yourself, and is the world of horticulture, is it a new world for you? Just tell us a bit about who you are.
It is, yes. It's all new. So I actually only started getting into gardening back during COVID, as I think most of the UK did.
Absolutely.
During that time.
Nothing wrong with that.
So my basic story is that I grew up in the Orkney Islands. I live there now still. But as soon as I finished school, I just wanted to go travelling, as most young people that grow up in small communities do.
Yes.
So I left for Australia and I spent about 2.5 years travelling around there with no plans to come home whatsoever until March 2020, when obviously everything got shut down. And I found myself on a flight back to Orkney. So with not much else to do during lockdown, me and my sister, who was also traveling in Australia with me, we both decided that we were going to try and resurrect our old vegetable patch that was just at our family home. It was totally overgrown. It had, willows growing in the middle of it, and it hadn't been touched for about a decade. So we decided we're gonna try and bring it back to life, and we dug the whole thing by hand. Spent about 6 weeks working on it, and planted the whole thing up. And that was when I kind of fell in love with gardening and just had a whole new appreciation for like self-sufficiency. I've been living in a city in Australia for years, living in Melbourne, and I enjoy the city life, but when lockdown came in, I think it gives you a different perspective. When you're walking down the supermarket aisles and you can see that they're empty, that was definitely, I suppose, making me want to just try growing my own food, and looking more at like local food growing, and sort of those kind of local communities. So yes, I got into gardening during lockdown, and then because it was a new hobby, I wanted to treat myself to a nice pair of gardening gloves.
Absolutely.
When you were starting a new hobby, you want to kind of treat yourself and buy all the things that you need to get yourself started. But I kept taking trips to the garden centre, and I couldn't actually find anything that I liked. I found that gloves for women were generally like less functional, less durable.
Yes,
they were pink and frilly, and like there was even one company that they did men's and women's gloves, and they were much the same, but the women's were like pink. I wanted the men's gloves, I just want something neutral, but that still looked nice, and so with every sort of failed trip to the garden centre, I just kept thinking about it more and more, and about a year passed of me kind of thinking about this. I just couldn't find any gloves I liked.
Really? It was that bad?
I was just wearing kind of old tatty gloves because I couldn't find what I wanted to buy. And so then I started to kind of look at the women's workwear market as a whole, and I did find that there is a real big gap there. As you'll know, it is really hard to find workwear for women that fits properly, and actually is functional. A lot of things you'll find are unisex, and they just don't fit.
They don't fit.
I'm tiny. I'm just 5'3", and I've got really small hands, and so it's really hard for me to find anything that fits.
I'm the same as you, size 3, tiny hands, nightmare.
So after a year of kind of sitting on the idea, I decided to try and give it a go myself, of just solving the problem. I had no experience whatsoever in product design or anything like this. At the time, I was working as a freelance photographer. So I at least had that kind of experience of photography and branding, that sort of thing. So I had no idea what a tech pack was. You need to bring a technical pack to a manufacturer. I didn't know what that was. I had to find a designer that could help me make one, and I was just sending a designer pictures and sketches of anything I wanted, and somehow we managed to rope together a tech pack and I got it to a manufacturer, and then my first product was eventually made. It was
How
about
exciting.
a year of sitting on the idea and then a year of development as well.
Okay.
And then in June last year we finally launched.
Woohoo.
So yeah, it was really exciting.
So could you give us a little bit of a flavour of the ethos of the company? It's Feverfew, isn't it? Feverfew Garden Co.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we're very much female focused and very much community focused. So our mission statement is to get as many women as possible feeling more confident in the garden,
Nice.
while also, having a positive impact on nature and our communities wherever possible.
Right.
Try to do that just by making products that women love to wear, and you can feel confident in them and comfortable, and then also trying to give back wherever possible as well. Just a few months ago, we donated our first gloves to Devon Dig and Donate.
Oh, yes.
Really, really exciting.
Devon and Earth.
Yes,
because I'm from Devon, so I know them. Yes. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so really excited. Donated our first few gloves there, and that's something I want to really do more of, is try to just give
amazing.
back and try and help out these community gardens, community projects wherever possible. So it's been really lovely to see pictures of that project coming along, and I see people wearing our gloves, and it's just so nice to know that they're being used. But really, really, really passionate about community gardening projects or any kind of community wild spaces. As the business develops, I want to put more back into that. So
that's excellent. So you were saying that when you started during lockdown, you rejuvenated your old veg patch with your sister. Is she involved in the business at all?
She is. She's actually just finished her accounting degree.
Okay.
So she's not necessarily involved in the business, but she's really coming in handy for getting the accounts
Financial
sorted.
advice.
And has she stayed on Orkney as well?
She's still in Orkney, and she's just working as an accountant now. So it's very handy to have always so handy to have an accountant.
Oh my goodness, I know.
She's working on preparing
lawyer.
my accounts right now as we speak. So very happy about that.
Wonderful. I would love that.
But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to. I've been really enjoying roping in friends and family as I go along. I've got a friend helping me today, and I've had another friend that has helped me at previous shows, and various family members all help me as I go along. So it's really nice.
Brilliant.
So I'm extremely jealous that you live in Orkney. I'm also fairly lucky, as I spent an amazing summer there, and it is stunning, but it's fairly remote. So how tricky is it to set up a company there, and what would have been the logistics in getting started?
Yeah, the logistics have been an issue at times.
Yeah.
It has its positives and negatives. Obviously, I do feel so lucky to be able to live in Orkney. It's beautiful.
Yes.
And it's an amazing place. Although, yes, shipping can be an issue. Over the winter, we had a particularly bad winter, and so there was days on end where the boats weren't going, flights weren't even going. So it's you're trying to explain to online customers that sorry, nothing has left the island in the last few days, so your package hasn't arrived yet.
Right.
So yes, that's been an issue. I've had a few mishaps where I've had product launches coming and the products haven't actually arrived yet because they've been delayed so much getting up to Orkney, and it adds a lot of extra cost as well getting things up. But yeah, there are positives. I mean, I've had a lot more support from being in a rural area. There's a lot more government funded programs and things. I've had access to mentorship, to training. So really grateful for that as well. So you've got to sort of use it to your advantage.
Yes, absolutely.
So have you been looking into third-party logistics things elsewhere as well? I can imagine you would be.
Yeah, by the end of this month, I'm starting with a really lovely fulfillment company. It's family owned. They're in Suffolk. So really excited about that because that's going to cut down our carbon footprint significantly because actually most of my customer base is in England. So it makes no sense to send everything up to Orkney and then back down again. As much as I love sending out all the packages myself, and I still write a handwritten thank you note in every single parcel I send out. So I'm going to miss doing that, but it does get to a point where I've written thousands now.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but I still love it. I like taking the time to just write a personal thank you to everyone that has bought from us, because it just means so much. So, but yeah, I'm really excited to start working with them. We're a lovely family-owned company.
That's a lovely thing that you writing those personal notes. It really makes that connection between you and your customer, doesn't it?
Yeah. I always try to think about just trying to do things differently and trying to have a personal touch, because it's just, I mean, how often do you get a personal handwritten note? Because most people buy things from Amazon nowadays, and it just feels so impersonal.
Yeah.
It's very rare that you would ever get anything like this, and it means so much when you do. You really notice, and it's just that community building. I really want anyone that buys from me to feel like they're part of the community.
But I tell you what, touching on that, and we have talked about a bit about the size of your feet and the size of your hands, and finding, gloves to buy really, really difficult. So I've been part of a campaign led by a previous podcast guest, Charlotte Howard, looking into, campaigning for decent workwear for women. How have you found the kind of industry's reaction, and especially from women, to your brand?
Yeah, amazing. And I'm in the group Women in Gardening Network as well, run by Charlotte, and they've been so fantastic. So when I actually initially first had the idea for the business, I went straight into the group and I asked, what do you love and hate about your current gardening gloves? Because I thought this is the perfect
remember that one. Yes, I answered it.
Oh, amazing. Well, yeah, I know that's right ahead of me. I had all the research I needed.
Great focus group.
And a lot of them don't hold back either.
Well, exactly. I knew I would get an honest response. So, and they've been fantastic. There's a lot of people in that group that have supported me from the beginning, and that are championing the brand.
That's great.
Every now and again I do get an email of someone reaching out just to tell me that they really are enjoying their gloves. Every now and again I do get these messages, and it just means so much. But yeah, I mean, all in all, really positive response. I just can't believe it. A lot of the time it just they seem to be really well received.
So I haven't got this as a question, but we've talked about gloves. Are you branching out into other workwear, or are you just going to stick with gloves?
Yeah, I mean, the goal would be to have the full outfit eventually. Yeah, I'm really keen on working on really good workwear trousers and shorts as well.
That would be amazing. Yes.
No one's really needed to wear shorts this summer. It's been so cold. But the previous summer, I was really feeling like I would love some proper shorts to wear. But product development takes time, and it takes investment as well. So I am getting some help with that, and I'm hoping to be launching new products in the coming year.
Wonderful.
But eventually just a full gardening outfit that's perfectly optimized for everything you need.
Not dungarees. Can't bear dungarees. Everybody thinks women gardeners should be in dungarees.
Yeah, I know, it's a stereotype.
Oh, I know. I just look like a children's TV presenter.
So we're here at Glee. It's Tuesday, the first day of Glee in the afternoon. This is your first trip to Glee. So how are you finding it so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit overwhelming, but amazing. I've just been loving it today.
Good.
Yesterday was full on. Yesterday was one of the most physically and emotionally demanding days of my life. I arrived in the morning and my stuff wasn't there. Nothing had arrived. It then got sent to the wrong stand. And then there was a parcel missing, so I had to kind of run around and look for that. But it all came together in the end.
But not the best introduction.
It's okay. I mean, it just made for a longer day. I knew everything would be fine in the end. I never lost faith that anything would actually get lost. I knew it was all going to be here somewhere. So I wasn't too worried, but it just slowed me down. And just setting up all the furniture myself. And so it was a long day. We got out of here at just 9:45 p.m.
Right.
That is a long day.
So it was a long day, but so worth it to be able to just be here and enjoy it today. And I'm just so grateful to be able to be here, because the business is only just over a year old, so for us to be here so early, it's just
that's
really
pretty
exciting.
good, isn't it? That really is.
Very grateful.
We're a young podcast as well, so we're excited to be here as well.
Although not our first Glee.
Not our first Glee, but our first
been coming for a while.
First podcast at Glee.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So what was it that encouraged you to exhibit here?
Yeah, it was just, I have quite a few friends and contacts in the industry, and it was just, it was a name that kept up.
Right.
Kept on coming up, again and again. And I think this seems to be the place where buyers come. And, being in our second year of business now, I feel it's the time to just try everything and try new things. But yeah, it was really just from everything that I've heard from people in the industry, this seemed to be the place to come.
Right.
So we thought we'd give it a go.
Yeah, brilliant.
And we're here.
So you said you have a friend that's helping you on the stand. So have you had a chance to have a wander around, and has anything caught your eye, or are you just mainly on your stand?
Yeah, every time I try and leave the stand, that's when someone comes.
Of course.
I try and run back. But yeah, there's a few shows I would like to catch if possible. I would definitely love to come and see your talk.
Oh no!
If I can.
No pressure.
Michael Perry, Mr. Plant Geek as well. I'm a fan of his, and I met him at the Garden Press event earlier in the year. So yeah, definitely go and support him. And yeah, I mean, just wandering around and looking at the stands are so beautiful, and some of them are just huge, and there've obviously been so much thought and effort put into the stands, and yeah, it's just lovely to wander around and get inspiration from what everyone else is doing and discover new things. But yeah, I hope to have more of a look around in the next few days.
Brilliant.
So you said you got a photography background. Does that mean you've put a lot of thought into how your products are displayed and that sort of thing? Do you do merchandising in any way?
I try my best. I'm trying. This is it's been a sort of problem I've been trying to solve for the last few months, is how to get our products ready for retail, because they're really designed for sort of e-commerce. I don't know if you see our gloves come in a lovely sort of cotton bag, which is beautiful for e-commerce when they arrive in a box, but not so great for retail when you want to see the product. So it's trying to just overcome that problem. And I've worked on new retail packaging. I'm really happy with it for now, and I think the displays look lovely. So, but it's all just a learning curve, something I'm learning and hopefully improving on. And it'll be great to get feedback from buyers as well that I meet here and see what they think of the packaging and see how I can improve it.
So will we be able to go into any garden centres soon to actually buy Feverfew, or is that not quite there yet, or is it all secret?
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. You'll see. Let's see after the next few days. I've got some very exciting meetings lined up tomorrow. So yeah, I hope so. That would be the dream.
Yes,
I mean, that would be the dream. So.
Right. So maybe this fits in with our next question, or my next question, which is, what are you excited about for the business in the coming year?
Yeah, new product launches, I hope, in the next year. Right. Focusing more on community and trying to give back to those community projects that we really care about. And yeah, just the growth of the business. I'm just really loving seeing it grow from nothing a year ago to now. So and just more shows, just getting the name out there. All of it. The whole thing's exciting.
Oh, it's amazing. So what is the one piece of advice you wish someone had given you when you before you started out, and that you could pass on to somebody trying to get a company or ideas off the ground, especially in a rural setting like you got?
I think definitely if you're in a rural location, then you can use it to your advantage. As I said before, there's much more support available.
In what way is that?
So funding.
Funding and support. So in my first year of business, I was able to get on a program called the Impact 30 program. That's just for Highlands and Islands businesses. So I was teamed up with a mentor who is in a very similar industry, and he's sold a few companies and been very successful. Having him by my side, basically, to call whenever I needed help was like, I would not be here today if it hadn't been for him. So you never know what support is available there. And I know I do have friends that are in rural locations in England too, and they have said similar things that they've had access to much more support. But yes, and just believing in yourself as well. You know, there's a lot of people when you start a new business, people kind of won't get it, or they'll just think, that's random. Or you know, when I was explaining to people that I was going to start a gardening gloves business, I think a lot of people just did not understand. But you've just got to have the passion and drive to just go for it, and don't second guess yourself too much. Just sometimes just got to try things.
We talked about your sister. How about the rest of your family? How have they taken to you setting up the business?
Yeah, they've been great. My other sister has been, she was really good for looking after my online orders when I needed to have a quick little holiday. I actually live at home with my parents, and they've been great with being very understanding about the number of cardboard boxes everywhere. So the spare room is now my office, which is great. But then the boxes have started to spread throughout the house. So other rooms are starting to get filled with boxes. I'll have my own office one day, I'm sure. But they've been so supportive and understanding. So
that makes a big difference.
Grateful for that.
Can I ask a question that we haven't pre-prepared? But when it comes to the actual making of your gloves, a silly question. How have you got them to be specifically for women? Do you use hand models, or you use people who are, that's what they do, make women's clothes?
Men with ladies' hands?
So the sampling process, I think I've got about 5 rounds of samples to begin with.
Right.
And I obviously work with a specialty manufacturer that specialises. They actually specialise in workwear gloves rather than gardening gloves, which is why I think they've been so successful, because they're built for sort of like mechanical gloves, so they're very hard wearing. So I had about 5 rounds of samples to try and get the sizing perfect, because I really wanted it perfect. But what you'll generally find with women's gloves or women's hands is that they're sort of slightly thinner around the palm. And then slightly longer in the fingers, whereas men's are slightly wider around the palm and shorter in the fingers. When I was doing sort of market research for the gloves, I bought one of the most kind of highly recommended pairs of gloves. From doing my research, they seem to kind of be the best. So I spent a bit of money on them, and I bought them, and I've never once been able to wear them because they're about 1 centimetre too short in the fingers. So they're just unwearable. So because they were unisex.
Right. Oh, it's fascinating. No, I've got to get myself a pair.
We can definitely arrange that.
I've got very silly little hands, so and it's always been
about the same size as mine. Actually, you'll be an extra small.
Well, I think what has happened is, because years of wearing gloves that don't fit, and I've spoken to a lot of women who have the same things, is that you clench a lot more. So women are tending to get arthritis a lot earlier because of this kind of trying to grip onto tools with gloves that don't fit, or you stop wearing gloves and that, buggers up your hands as well. So having gloves that fit is, I know if you're not it's not what you do, but it is so important. It really, really is.
But I think that's exactly why somebody like yourself needs to come in and say, no, we need to create this, because actually it's probably men who've been creating the products and developing and designing the products.
A bit like bras.
I wouldn't know.
Something like that,
Well, it's been really lovely chatting to you today, Rachel, and we wish you all the best success, and I'm really hoping that you'll get lots of buyers taking you up.
So.
But obviously you don't want to go too bad because products in demand. But hopefully brings you what you want and that you enjoy it. And I'm sure we will see you around the show.
Yeah, all the best.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been lovely talking to you.
Thanks, Rachel.
Bye.